Billionaires today are worried about two things: their billions and their security. Mark Zuckerberg buried a 5,000 square foot, blast-resistant shelter beneath his Hawaiian compound and called it a basement, while Larry Ellison took it a step further and bought an entire island just to use the Pacific Ocean as his personal perimeter wall. But what happens when the ultra-rich skip the mansion entirely and only build the bunker? Hidden deep in the rural Czech Republic, behind unmarked walls with zero public records of ownership, sits the most extreme private survival structure ever constructed. From the surface, you only see a decoy, a pristine private golf course. But the real asset is buried beneath the grass. It is called the Oppidum. Sealed behind a military-grade blast door that locks in under 60 seconds, is 77,500 square feet of subterranean living space, larger than both of Zuckerberg's mansions combined. It features an underground garden with a simulated sky, a cinema, a spa, and entirely self-sufficient power, water, and air filtration systems designed to sustain its occupants for up to a decade. The total estimated cost? $500 million, but the most chilling detail isn't the price tag, it is the absolute secrecy. The identity of the owner, and whether a single individual or a private consortium, has never been confirmed. You cannot visit, you cannot apply. You cannot simply buy your way in. You can only be invited. Listen, stay to the end, because I'm going to give you two things most bunker videos skip entirely. First, the real cost of the alternatives. What does the bunker market actually charge, from the $1.5 million Kansas silo to the $100 million bespoke install? And second, the question these structures raise about the people inside them that is honestly more unsettling than the blast doors. Construction began for the Oppidum in 1984, a joint project between the Soviet Union and Czechoslovakia, then a Soviet satellite state at the height of the Cold War. The purpose was military, a hardened underground facility capable of surviving the scenarios both sides of the Iron Curtain spent 40 years planning for. The project took a decade to complete. The facility was constructed to military specification, meaning it was not designed to be comfortable or beautiful, or self-sufficient in the way a private residence would be. It was designed to endure. Reinforced concrete, blast doors, air filtration, power generation, the architecture of survival applied with Cold War pragmatism. Then the Soviet Union collapsed, the Iron Curtain fell, and the facility passed into a different kind of history, the history of structures built for threats that never materialized in a world that had unexpectedly survived. In 2013, a Czech real estate entrepreneur named Jakub Zamrazil acquired it. What he did with it is one of the most extraordinary conversion stories in the history of private real estate. Zamrazil's vision was specific and radical. Take a Cold War military bunker and transform it into the world's most luxurious private survival compound. A place where the ultra-wealthy could live at a standard that rivaled their homes above ground, indefinitely beneath the earth, while the surface became uninhabitable. Not a temporary shelter, not a fallout room with stockpiled food and a generator. A complete, self-contained world. The result spans 323,000 square feet across both above-ground and subterranean levels. For context, that's roughly the floor space of 6 Walmart supercenters. The underground living space alone, the part that survives whatever the surface cannot, is 77,500 square feet. Zuckerberg's 2 central mansions at Ko'olau Ranch, the ones that generated global headlines for their scale, total approximately 57,000 square feet. The underground portion of the Oppidum exceeds them by 20,000 square feet. And that's just the part below the blast door. Above ground, the compound is structured to appear, to anyone who doesn't know what they're looking at, like a private estate. High walls, dense forest cover, a helipad, and a golf course. A full private course on the surface, because if the world is not ending today, the owner's recreational preferences are accommodated at the highest possible level. The only entrance to the underground compound is a tunnel sealed by a blast door. The entire above-ground life of the estate can be abandoned in under 60 seconds. 1 minute. Tunnel sealed. World locked out. Beneath that blast door, 77,500 square feet designed for an indefinite stay. The underground garden is perhaps the compound's most technically ambitious feature. A carefully landscaped space where flowers, plants, and trees grow year-round, sustained by an automatic irrigation system and illuminated not by the natural sky but by a full-spectrum lighting array that simulates sunrise, daylight, sunset, and even seasonal change. Deep underground, in a bunker in the Czech Republic, occupants can watch an artificial sun dip below an engineered horizon, where the sky above is programmed and the passing of seasons is reduced to code. Yet the garden itself remains undeniably real. While the underground structure contains everything the average billionaire would need to sustain life for the foreseeable future, it does so with a meticulous attention to both physical survival and psychological stability. The aquatic center features a full-size swimming pool convertible between fresh and salt water, reinforcing the idea that even in isolation, standards of living are not compromised. The entertainment complex expands this philosophy further, offering a cinema, a library, a professional-grade fitness room, and a full spa. These are not mere luxuries, but carefully designed forms of containment, intended to keep occupants sane, engaged, and functional during a stay that may stretch into years rather than days. Security, too, reflects the stakes of such a space. A multi-biometric system combining facial recognition, iris scanning, and palm recognition ensures that access is nearly impossible to breach, acknowledging that the boundary between inside and outside may equate to the boundary between survival and collapse. Most critical of all are the life support systems, which distinguish this facility from a mere luxury basement. Its air filtration, water supply, and power generation operate entirely independently of external infrastructure, allowing it to function without reliance on a grid, municipal water, or even a stable civilization. In the strictest sense, it is self-contained, designed to sustain its inhabitants for up to a decade, long enough perhaps for whatever catastrophe prompted their retreat to pass, or not. Sadly, there are a few things that we don't know about the Oppidum, such as who owns it. The identity of the principal owner, or owners, has never been publicly confirmed. Zamrazil, the entrepreneur who acquired the site in 2013 and developed it under the Oppidum name, has spoken publicly about the concept and the design. He has not disclosed the identity of the individual or individuals who commissioned the full compound at the $500 million scale. That information is treated by everyone involved as classified. This is not unusual in ultra-high net worth real estate. Many of the world's most expensive private properties are held through corporate structures, trusts, or nominee arrangements designed specifically to prevent the connection between an asset and its true beneficial owner from ever becoming public record. While the Oppidum flagship bunker is undeniably impressive, it comes with a practical limitation. If the world were truly on the brink within the next 24 hours, the last thing anyone would want is to scramble across continents to reach a secure facility in the Czech Republic. This is precisely where the Oppidum L'Héritage reveals its real appeal. Designed as a more flexible and immediately accessible solution, the L'Héritage model is a 5-bedroom, 7-bathroom underground residence that descends roughly 49 feet beneath the surface. It is engineered to meet NATO ballistic and blast protection standards, constructed using the same high-density concrete formulations found in nuclear power plants, ensuring extreme resilience under catastrophic conditions. What sets it apart, however, is its adaptability. This is a bunker that can be installed discreetly beneath an existing private residence, virtually anywhere in the world, allowing owners to integrate survival infrastructure directly into their everyday lives. The cost reflects its exclusivity and engineering, starting at around $60 million for a base configuration and rising to approximately $100 million for a fully outfitted version, complete with staff quarters and premium finishes. Unsurprisingly, Oppidum remains highly secretive about its clientele. The company confirms that demand for the L'Héritage model rose sharply after 2016, surged again during the COVID-19 pandemic, and has continued to grow steadily since. Who exactly is buying these bunkers remains undisclosed, and by all indications, deliberately so. If you don't have $50 million sitting idle but still want access to a serious underground bunker, the reality is that your options narrow quickly. At the high end of what's still remotely accessible, 2 models stand out: Airy Bunker Network and the Survival Condo Project. They take very different approaches, but both reflect the same underlying idea: survival, packaged as a service rather than a one-off construction project. Airy is one of the most talked about examples of a high-end membership bunker concept, designed to function less like a traditional shelter and more like an ultra-secure private club for the world's wealthiest individuals. The concept revolves around a network of fortified underground bunkers accessible exclusively to members, with the first location planned in Virginia, near Washington, D.C., and developed by the security firm Safe, strategically armored and fortified environments. Membership is reportedly priced at around $20 million, placing it firmly within ultra-high net worth territory. In return, members gain access to private underground living suites supported by an extensive range of advanced and luxury amenities. These include AI-assisted medical care and robotic treatment facilities, offering a level of healthcare autonomy rarely seen even in elite hospitals, alongside swimming pools, wellness centers, restaurants, and social lounges designed to preserve a sense of normalcy in extreme conditions. The facility also incorporates more specialized infrastructure such as shooting ranges, hyperbaric chambers, and multi-layered biometric security systems, reflecting both its defensive function and its focus on long-term habitation. With an estimated development cost of $300 million, ARI is intended to operate as a broader network of bunker sanctuaries across the United States, allowing members to access secure locations while traveling rather than relying on a single fixed site. It has been described as the Soho House of nuclear bunkers, a phrase that captures its hybrid identity as both a survival system and a status-driven, networked refuge. The survival condo project, by contrast, is less conceptual and more tangible. It is arguably the closest real-world example of a functioning high-end bunker community, repurposing Cold War infrastructure into a modern survival environment. Located in a converted Atlas F intercontinental ballistic missile silo in rural Kansas, roughly 80 miles from the geographic center of the United States, it was developed by Larry Hall, who purchased the decommissioned site in 2008 for $300,000 and invested approximately $20 million, transforming it into a fully operational underground residence. Rather than selling the bunker as a single private asset, the model is based on shared ownership, with residents purchasing individual condominium units within the structure. The facility extends 15 floors underground, reaching approximately 197 feet below the surface, deeper than the height of the Statue of Liberty, and encompasses around 54,000 square feet of reinforced living space. Built for extreme resilience, it features 9-foot-thick, epoxy-hardened concrete walls, a dome engineered to withstand winds exceeding 500 miles per hour, and 16,000-pound blast doors. Designed to support up to 75 residents for as long as 5 years, it includes hydroponic gardens, producing multiple varieties of lettuce, a tilapia-based aquaponics system, and extensive food storage. Amenities rival those of a luxury apartment complex, including a swimming pool, a 17-seat cinema, a library, climbing wall, bar, gym, and sauna, alongside medical facilities and armed security. In a telling detail, the bunker even includes a jail cell, reflecting careful consideration of long-term social dynamics in confined conditions. Units have historically sold for between $1.5 million and $3 million, with monthly fees ranging from $2,625 to $5,250, because even underground, the structure of shared living and its costs persist. Across the world, from a Kansas missile silo to hardened facilities embedded in European mountains, a market has emerged for exactly this kind of infrastructure. Survival systems delivered with the finishes of private residences and the security architecture of military installations. The clients are not fringe figures or eccentrics. In many cases, they are the same individuals investing in super yachts, private islands, and remote estates with redundant power systems and concealed escape routes. The bunker market exists because the people most capable of preparing for worst-case scenarios have chosen to take them seriously. What is perhaps more revealing than the bunkers themselves is the question they raise about the mindset behind them. If the world above is considered fragile enough to warrant retreating behind blast doors and beneath engineered environments, what does that suggest about how its most privileged inhabitants perceive it? You can read that impulse in different ways: as prudence, as paranoia, or as a quiet acknowledgement of systemic risk. The technology is impressive, the engineering undeniable, but the real story may lie in the decision to build at all.